Good morning, guys. This is Ray from nextforextrade.com. Today is it's Friday the 23rd of August 2019. It's about 10 to 8 here in the UK. And I'm here to teach, not preach, Forex. So let's jump into it and have a look at what we've got. It is a Friday, obviously, so I'm not looking to open any positions. I do have some open, which I'll go over. Really, if I were to trade today, open new ones, there's really only one that sticks out for me, which is AUDCAD, which I'll go over briefly here. I did go over this yesterday, so if you had entered that, you would be in a good position at the moment. So the reason for entry on this is looking at our daily. We have got some nice lower lows and lower highs. Price is nicely within our standard deviation channel. It's kind of in an overbought area at the moment. It's not touching our upper edge, which would be better, but it is still at least around the average. And we've also seen some horizontal resistance as well, where these highs have interacted in the price. So we've got a good reference point for our stop above this level. And also, what else are we seeing on this? That level there, let me just check on the fib. Yeah, I mean, not that I give a whole lot of, credence to Fibonacci levels, but it is sometimes interesting just to see how things correlate. I was looking at that level as well. It does look like it's a 23, just underneath the 23 retrace on that move. If we were to take that on the 4 hourly, it would be nearer to the, no, it's no significance. When I'm using the Fibonacci as well, one of the things I'm looking for is just to see how it correlates with the other things that I'm seeing in the market. I'm not using it in isolation. I'm looking to see whether, okay, there are other levels that interact with this, which give just more strength to the decision. In that instance, we can say that's around about 23.6 retrace, which is fine. It's just information, nothing necessarily to trade off. It's when you put all of these things together that you have a reason to consider trading or taking a position. So the 4 hourly, so we've looked at the daily. You can see we've got some nice downward movement. We've got a good reference point for our stop loss. So it's really a case of looking at the 4 hourly to see how that stacks up and how it agrees with our higher time frame. So at the moment, on the 4 hourly, this is that same resistance we're seeing, which is that horizontal line I've got in. The main concern is this upward movement that we've seen here. So the retrace that we're seeing in the price, and it does, from its low here to where it is now, it does kind of fit within our standard deviation channel. There are points when it goes out, but more or less, you can see that it's finding support along this lower edge. Now, really, what we want to see is the price break those lows. So if I take this horizontal here, the more conservative type of trade is waiting for the price to break these lows here, because you can see this is quite significant. I mean, it's zonal support around here, but it's the context of this is in this move up here, it's found support. So we want it to break that support to give more meaning to looking at the price kind of moving down in this direction. And I'm following through with that momentum, if you like, that we're seeing on the daily. Now the hourly has already started to do that. You can see that it started to produce those lower lows and lower highs. So you could aggressively look to short this without waiting for it to break these lows here. Wouldn't be my preference. Ideally, what I want to see it do is break and then pull back and then interact with the upper edge of our standard deviation channel like it's doing now. And in terms of a stop loss, well, you could, there are two kind of areas that would stick out for me for a stop loss placement on here. So I would be thinking, excuse me, aggressively, you could go for a stop here above this lower high. Obviously you'd have a bigger position in and the price wouldn't need to move as far to hit at least 1-to-1 on a take profit. However, I do prefer positions which make sense across multiple time frames. Taking a putting a stop loss at that level would mean that if we look at the other time frames, it would kind of make sense on a 4-hourly, but on the daily, definitely not. There's just not enough wiggle room, because a stop loss where I put it there would mean this is that same level that was on the hourly. So the price, in the grand scheme of things, on the daily, it could easily, retrace, take that position out, but you still wouldn't really be wrong on this overall move down here. So for me, the kind of smarter placement for the stop loss is up here above these previous lower highs. Yes, it would mean you need a smaller position in terms of what your lot size, but it just makes sense in terms of what the price action is saying. It makes sense across multiple time frames. It would mean that with an entry like that, you'd be looking at a 1-to-1 reward to risk. Your 1-to-1 would be around this level here. Okay, so 8, 9, 26. So I'm just going to eyeball this. So it's going to be around about here, which in terms of price action still makes sense, because we're still seeing this downward movement here. It's still before this previous low here, and it's also in the upper. It's not quite oversold as of yet. So achieving a 1-to-1 reward to risk would be quite probable with a position like that. But you do bear in mind, it being a Friday, you would need to hold this over the weekend. So what you'd need to do is just take consideration of what the swap would be when on the short. So AUDCAD. So with my broker, it's not massive. It's minus 1.1. But yeah, there's scope in this. If I were to take any position, it would be this if it wasn't a Friday and I wasn't in positions already. But the main thing here is that I'd have to leave this open over the weekend, which isn't ideal, but the positioning is good enough to have it as a consideration for shorts. So let's have a look at the ones that I'm in at the moment. So AUDUSD. First of all, so this has been one since the 12th of August. So this first position was on the 12th of August. So I've scaled into this several times. It's one I'm going to be monitoring today. The lower time frames have started to produce the type of price action that I was after. So it started to break these previous areas of support and make lower lows and lower highs. Still quite choppy on the 4-hourly. The premise on the daily is still fine. I'm okay with that. But this area of support that we're seeing on the daily, on the 4-hourly and some of the lower time frames as well. Excuse me, something in my throat today. This is a concern, because what I want to see in today's price action is for it to break convincingly through those previous area of support, because it's just too choppy. I may consider reducing my position if I don't see that convincingly break those lows in today's market. But all in all, still okay with this position. Still got my full 3% in this, and the lower time frame is playing into the story that I want to see. It's looking okay. So yeah, wait and see on that. I'll update you on Monday. And lastly, let's just have a look at the Euro USD. This is another position. Only had 1% in this, but we've got some classic lower lows, lower highs on the daily. 4 hourly is congruent with what the daily's saying. We've got this nice lower lows, lower highs. So this move here equates to this move here. Hourly as well, I'm capturing the same as the 4 hourly in this move. And yeah, producing lower lows, lower highs on the 15 as well. And this is my profit target, just over 1 to 1. It's about 1.2 to 1. And I mean the swap on this as well, because I'm getting paid on the swap on this, you know, it's adding about an extra 5% or so profit if this pays off and hits its lows. But this is looking okay. The main concern with this was this support area, which it's currently breaching at the moment. So if we look at this on the actually let's have a look at it on the hourly. Yeah. What I want to see, similar to the AUD USD, is for it to break this support. We can see that, you know, it's had several contact points with this. It has breached it in the last few hours, but it hasn't pierced it and you know, made an extension. So if this were to break, my take profit would be quite likely to be hit. But yeah, it's still holding up right now. But you know, I've got the momentum of the daily and the 4 hourly and the hourly. They are kind of all quite congruent at the moment. So well, you know, we'll see how this one pans out. This is one that I've protected the profit on. So I do have this protective stop up here above this lower high. Should the price reverse on me, that would mean about £30 profit. If I hit target here, it's about 120. 100, it would be about 120 after taking into consideration the swaps as well. So yeah, that's it. That's slightly shorter video today. And if you have any other questions, about what I'm talking about here, feel free to drop a comment. Do subscribe, because these videos, you can obviously get notifications to these when I make the recommendations, so you can make the positions, take the positions throughout the day rather than you know, looking at this in hindsight. So subscribe and click that notification bell as well, and I will see you again on Monday. Take care. Bye.